may I request the nominator of this candidate, His Excellency Yoweri Museveni, to bring the candidate forward. Does all of you, the two in front and the others behind as backup. We shall introduce you later. Correct?
Thank you very much. I'm here today. I have the honor to present our candidate for NRM chairmanship. Your Excellency, President Yoweri Museveni.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Al-Haj is presenting this candidate for NRM chairman, or the position of NRM chairman.
NRM chairman, we are presenting him here on behalf of the movement as our chairman.
May I request the two nominators to go, seconders to come behind Al-Haj. Bring Haji Shafiq of Bukomansimbi, I know him very well, behind, and Honorable Namatovu Mastula from Kamuli Municipality. Could I request you to say one or two words in support of the nominator? Give Haji the microphone, please. From there.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Shafiq Manje, NRM District Chairman, Bukomansimbi Cindy. It's my pleasure to be here today. Before I do anything, I have 2 points. Number one, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda, is only the President who registered and recognized our fraternity of people with disabilities in this country. Number two, affirmative action. Number three, socio-economic transformation amongst people with disabilities and the country at large. To this point, now I'm seconding Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda, the angel from the God, the Son of God, to be nominated to be the chairperson of the National Resistance Movement. I submit.
Your Excellency and Mama, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mastula Namatovu, the Vice Chairperson, Kamuli Women's League, and the National Publicity for the Women's Council. Your Excellency, the women of Uganda are so much in love with you. As the women of Uganda, Your Excellency, we are delighted for the programs, the empowerment that you have done to us economically, socially, and we have no doubt a lot is coming. Your Excellency, as Mastula Namatovu, I second your nomination as our party chairman, and as women, we are settling for the best. Women, oye! A winning oye! Women, oye! Museveni, oye! Ra! Cha! Ah! Your Excellency, we are grateful. Thank you so much for God and my country. Long live Your Excellency, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
This is to satisfy that aspirant candidate, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tibahora of the National Resistance Movement, has submitted a list of supporters for his candidature to be the national chairman of the National Resistance Movement at the Party Electoral Commission, to be held at the National Conference of 2025, and the Electoral Commission has verified that the aspirant candidate, has complied with the Constitution of the National Resistance Movement and NRM Electoral Regulations 2025.
On behalf of the NRM Electoral Commission. Yes. Where are the youth? I don't hear the vibe. Yes. On behalf of the NRM Electoral Commission. Yes. I, yes. Dr. Tango Doi, yes. From Kisoko, yes. But Chairman NRM Electoral Commission, yes. Now hereby, yes. Nominate, yes. His Excellency, yes. Yoweri, yes. Kaguta, yes. Museveni, yes. To contest, unopposed, yes. As chairman, yes. Of the NRM party. Congratulations.
Viva! But we thank members of the party that we are honored that our national chairman and the president has gone unopposed through all these steps. We congratulate him so much. Your Excellency, like the Chairman Electoral Commission stated, there are some level of indiscipline in the party. Indiscipline based on the areas of use of money. We have already registered that our candidates are trying to spend a lot of money to convince the voters. I want to put them on notice that that is not allowed in the party. We do not want money to take president over quality and character. To Your Excellency, we have also notified our members and candidates that we have noted with concern the growing incidences of violence in the party. What the Chairman Electoral Commission has reported. We request that you, as the national chairman of the party, prevail over this, and where possible, I beg and pray that the party should crack the whip and call members to order. Our Constitution, Schedule 4, is very clear on codes of conduct of members and the rules of discipline. We can reprimand them, we can suspend them, we can dismiss them from the party. The party must crack the whip because there is a high level of indiscipline that is growing in the party, and we pray that our candidates should not fall victim of this. Finally, as I prepare to invite the first National Vice Chairman to invite you to give your brief remarks, you have your Bazukulus here who just want to sing a song. They cannot speak, they just want to sing a song for you and Mama. Allow them to give you just 2 minutes.
I thank Mama Ayogedde Museveni. Thank you very much for having persuaded him to accept to lead the movement because we really need him so much. My dear members of the movement, I want to thank all of you for having turned up here to see the nomination of our chairman. I'm honored to be here to unveil our chairman to you, members of the movement. I want to thank the Electoral Commission for what we have gone through. You know, it's not very easy to bring the president here to go through all these stages. It's not easy. So I congratulate you very much. Okay. Now together, we have nominated our chairman, and you have got to support him so that he can lead us through very well. But what we need to do now, as members of the movement, is to make sure our discipline goes high. Let our discipline go high so that they will see the difference between the movement and other parties which they are talking about. Discipline has taken us very far, and we cannot really put it down. We need to respect one another. If you don't have good discipline, you can't do that. We have our chairman, who has taken us through so many difficult things, but he has kept the movement together, and we are still together, and we cannot let him down. Now that you have already been nominated, we are going to start afresh to do the work with all these people, with the new elected people. We are going to work together. We are here. We are not panicking, and we are not going anywhere. The person whom we have nominated is here. He has a vision, and he's going to take us where that vision will go. You just look at them, but don't antagonize them, but we are not comparing movement to those groups. If we behave very well, even this corruption will stop, because we will not be fearing to tell the truth. We don't want intrigue in the movement. We don't want that. We must be very clean. No backbiting, no rugabo, what have you, laziness. He has brought everything to us here. Let's use all what he has brought to us, the UPDM, wealth creation. PDM, it is now in operation and is doing very well, and it has helped our people. We need to help our people. We have to keep together with the masses. What do they need? We know. I'm not going to labor much about this one, but I want to invite His Excellency the President, who is our chairman now, because once he has gone through all these stages and opposed, then that's very good. We want votes. This time we want votes. We want our chairman to get a lot of votes from everywhere. We must win. Everywhere we stand, we win. No laziness. Turonde kati, kusawa eno kati kati, twagala kalulu kati kati. Okay, that one is going to be organized, but we are going to follow the program. We are going to follow the program, and everything will be very well arranged. With those few words, I want to use this opportunity to call our chairman, who has been nominated today, to come and talk to you.
Nominators, the seconders, the nominator, the seconders, and my lawyers, and the secretariat who organized all these documents, because they are not easy. You have heard that they got signatures from 151 districts in such a short time. I thank everybody who was involved. I hope the whole membership of the NRM and its structures will support my candidature as the chairman of the NRM for the 2025-2031 period, and also as flag bearer for the NRM in the presidential contest for the 2026-2031 period. Why do I say you should support me now that I'm your flag bearer? and your chairman. Why? There must be reasons. It's not just emotional. There must be reasons. It is because I stand here on behalf of the very NRM that started as a student movement in 1965. This is 60 years ago. That nascent student movement emerged in a very fragmented landscape where polarization was following tribes and religious denominations. Twatandikira ekibiina ky'abavubuka ensi yammwe yonna ng'obufuzi baali bamaze okugiyuzayuza. What do you call fragments in Uganda? Uganda fragments of Sabatia?
Your Excellency, Bobajjo Bajjo.
Bajjo Bajjo. Ebyobufuzi byali kati birimu obajjo bajjo. Engusyo, ebinyankole. Fragments. That's how Uganda was, politically. That political fragmentation made governance impossible because no fragment could master a majority in an election. In 1962, no party could get more than even 40% because they had fragmented the people in Engusyo, Oshorogoto, fragments of a calabash or a pot. The fragmentation also could not allow institutions to be built up. So the fragmentation made governance impossible because you couldn't get a majority. If you say Baganda are not even 17% of the population of Uganda. So how will you get majority? If you say Banyankore, if you say you will not get far. If you say religion, Catholics, Protestants, none of them can even be 40%. So that's what happened. Fragmentation meant impossibility for governance. This is the point I'm raising here. But that fragmentation also could not allow institutions to be built up. The victim institutions included the army, the judiciary, the civil service, etc. Kubanga bw'oyambala gaalubindi z'okusosola n'otalaba omuserikale ng'omuserikale naye n'omulaba ng'ow'eddiini gundi oba ow'eggwanga gundi oluzimba otya amagye. How will you have a national army? Indeed, this is what happened. Our first graduate from Sandhurst, Kargawa, was removed from the army in year 1 of independence. So, the fragmentation of the politics could not allow the country to build an army, to build a judiciary. Chief Justice was murdered here, Chiwanuka. And the other judges had to run away. When some Europeans were killed under Idi Amin, they appointed a commission of inquiry led by Justice Jeffrey Jones, a white man. He investigated the case, but in order to report, he ran to Nairobi and issued the report when he was in Nairobi. That was the judiciary. That was after the killing of Chiwanuka. uliriza okuyuza okwebika bibiri, with the two fragmentations, the political fragmentation and the institutional fragmentation. Ebyobufuzi biyuziza ebitongole bya gavumenti, they are fragmented. What came now? Came the constitutional collapse in the form of the conflict between Mutesa and Obote, 1966, and the Idi Amin coup of 1971. The constitutional order was destroyed within the first 10 years of independence. The next casualty was the small enclave economy, the island economy of the 3 C's and the 3 T's. The 3 C's and the 3 T's, I have told you repeatedly, were coffee, cotton, and copper, and the 3 T's were tobacco, tea, and tourism. By the 1986, cotton had disappeared, copper had disappeared, tea had disappeared, and so had tourism. It is only coffee and tobacco that were still limping on. There was acute shortages, Ebola, of all essential items, as they were being called, meaning soap, salt, paraffin, textiles, sodas, beers, etc. Our alcohol drinkers were being rescued by Primus beer from Burundi and a beer called Muniki from Congo. We even had a minister of shortages. There was a minister of shortages called Dr. Moses Apiriga. He was called the Minister of Supplies to deal with shortages. Apiriga, is he still alive or what? He died. He's alive. One day you should bring Apiriga as a guest of honor to tell you about shortages. Therefore, by 1986, the great country of Uganda had 3 mega traumas. Political fragmentation caused by the sectarianism leading to the collapse of the democratic constitutional order, the collapse of the institutions of state such as the army, and the collapse of the economy. This is what we had to deal with in 1986. The political fragmentation causing the collapse of democracy, the collapse of the institutions of state, like the army, no army. You can imagine we had army, UA was destroyed completely. 1979, Jasangidwao. Then UNLA. No, but even before UA was destroyed, it had destroyed itself. Because they had killed so many killings among themselves. The soldiers from one part of the country killing soldiers from another part of the country. So the soldiers were seasonal. You are seasonal. You are a soldier today, tomorrow you are a refugee. And the collapse of the economy. Given all this, understanding where we are today in the year of our Lord 2025, we can see that in the last 60 years, the NRM has been a participant and for most of the time a leader of the efforts to do the following in the interests of Uganda. You remember I asked the question, why do I agree to be a candidate and why do you nominate me and what do we tell the country? So the answer is that in the last 60 years now, the NRM have been involved in the following. Number one, liberation between 1965 and 1986. So you had to liberate. Walina okujjawo enkola eno ey'okuyuzaayuza n'okumenyamenya n'okutema mu bantu. Number two, stabilization between 1986 and today. That's what people are talking about, stability. Number three, minimum economic recovery by restoring the 3 C's and the 3 T's, as well as eliminating Ebola shortages. Instead of shortages today, you have got a chengera, too much, too many products in the shops. Nokudiba nebidiba maduka ebintu bijjude n'okudiba nebidiba. Number four, expanding the narrow enclave economy, because the coffee now is much more than the coffee we had in 1970, and so is the tea and all the other products. Number five, diversifying the economy by commercializing products that were previously thought to be for only subsistence, such as maize, milk, bananas, fruits, beef, poultry, eggs, sugarcane, cassava, etc. Number six, value addition to these raw materials. Number seven, introducing through the intensified and expanded educational system the knowledge economy of automobiles, vaccines, therapeutics, diagnostics, electrical gadgets, computer assembly. I think they can show us a bit on the screen. When you get them, put them on. What does this mean? It means that the NRM, its cadres and the masses that have supported them over the years have been participants in, and for most of the time, there you have that's where you are now. This was the country which was formerly had no sugar, no salt, no soap. Now kati mukola motoka. Zemula bezi. So, most of these years, the NRM has been participants in, and for most of the time, leaders of the efforts to liberate Uganda from sectarian fragmentation and political collapse, ensure its economic recovery, ensure the growth and expansion of its economy, ensure that the start of socio-economic transformation of society starts so that Uganda becomes a modern country and starts the struggle for the economic and political integration of Uganda into Africa, so that the wealth creators of Africa have a reliable market to absorb their products. So the NRM has been involved in all these efforts. Liberation, stabilization, transformation, all of them, NRM involved or leading most of the time. What have been the consequences of this? The consequences have been liberation, democratization, peace, and an economy that is now $61 billion by the foreign exchange method and 172.2 billion by the PPP method. The economy has expanded 16 times since 1986, from $3.9 billion, according to the Ministry of Finance, to what it is now. This means that Uganda is now a lower middle income country with a GDP per capita of $1,263 for its population of 46 million people. This means that Uganda is no longer a least developed country, LDC. You can look at all the other statistics. I didn't want to divert you today by quoting the usual statistics of inflation, rate of growth, but you can look at them. Look at all these statistics. They are good, if not excellent, in many cases. However, we can do much better, especially if we eliminate corruption. So, this is what we have achieved. What then is next, and why am I coming forward to respond to the millions of Ugandans who have been ordering me with the slogan, Tova Kumain, Babade Bandagira. Tova Kumain, do not leave the main electricity line. So the reason I accept and the NRM supports, I'm sure, are two. It is for two reasons. Reason number one is to work with the NRM structures to clarify the importance of the 6 aspects that are very crucial in ensuring that Uganda, and maybe by example other parts of Africa, do not again miss the bus of history as happened in the past when Europe transformed and Africa stagnated and was enslaved. In my recent speeches, I've been answering the question that cover these aspects. The question is, where does prosperity come from? And what are the factors to facilitate it? Identifying 6 aspects. These are peace, meaning war and control of crime. Number 1. Number 2, development, meaning entunguka, enkulakulana, don global, apol, in Ateso. Development, here we mean roads, electricity, schools, and so on. But then we insist on number 3, wealth. There must be wealth. Obugaiga, Obugaga, Lonyo, Abar, Lonyi in the Rugubara. This has been so much confusion. People talk about roads, about this, they forget about wealth. Roads are for all of us. But wealth is for the family, for the company, for the individual. If you have got roads, electricity, but no wealth in the homes, you will not, the country will not move. So we insist, number 3, wealth. Then number 4, jobs. Emirimo, teach, aswam. Where do the jobs come from? That's another confusion among our people. Then services, obuweereza, aijanakin, such as health, education, spirituality. Because when people are talking, they mix all this. They don't separate. That's why you get a lot of confusion. And the NGOs in the past also were adding to the confusion. In the 1960s, you would hear them talking of services, healthcare. Sometimes they talk about a little bit about education, but they don't talk about wealth in the homes. If you don't deal with health, how will development be funded? If the homes don't have obugaga, they don't have wealth, how will the economy grow? You build roads, what do the families put on the roads? And those roads are built with borrowed money from abroad. But the families and the companies and the individuals are not producing wealth to use the roads. This is what we don't agree with. And markets for our products through regional integration. If you produce, where will you sell? In the coming days, I'm going to say more about this issue. You'll hear more about this issue of the markets. So therefore here, in this Sanja, I ask you to emphasize these 6 points. Peace, number 1. Peace meaning no war. Nobody will bring wars in Uganda. We shall crush it. But also crime. Crime must also be controlled. Because you may not have war, but you have crime. Crime also will disturb people. Secondly, enkulakulana, development, meaning the roads, the electricity, and very good. But thirdly, wealth. Every home must have wealth in the home. The wealth is personal and private. So is poverty. The poverty is yours. To take a mwavu was a city mwavu. Don't put me in your poverty because I'm not. So that's why we tell all families, all individuals, please. Ati omusoga yakikobeera. Omusoga yakoba nti akange kakera kaife. Mwali mkiwuliddeko? Nti omusoga yakoba. Nti akange kakera kaife. Mine is better than ours. So, number 1, peace. Number 2, development. Number 3, wealth. Wealth is not the same as development. Here in Kampala, development is everywhere. Roads, some are downstairs, some are upstairs. But there is poverty in the ghetto, these children of the ghetto. Banabana ba ghetto. Babade mbwavu, wade, enkulakulana yetolode wonna. So that's why we must stop this diversion when people are just... So, number 4, jobs, emirimu gisangibwa wa. Number 5, obuweereza, services, health, education, spirituality, by pastors abo. They are providing a service. Those are service providers. Hospitality and so on. Then number 6, obutale markets. This is what I would like us to emphasize. This understanding helps us to, for instance, understand where the majority of the jobs in a developed country come from. It is from the private sector, commercial farming, factories, services such as hotels, transport, etc., and ICT, not from the government. Because if people don't understand where the jobs are, tulekanira bwerere kubanga abantu abasinga obungi balowooza nti emirimu girina okuva mu gavumenti. So nga emirimu gya gavumenti tegimala kubanga owegombolera omu, ow'omuluka omu, diisa omu. So where are the jobs? Nibugenda mu masomero waliwo ekikomo, omudwaliro waliwo ekikomo kya abakozi ba gavumenti. So we must be clear, the NRM must tell every home that please, the majority of the jobs are not from the government. Banyankole call that okufuga, to be diverted. Instead of looking the right way, you are looking the wrong way. If you think the government are from, majority of jobs are from the government, you are diverted. You are not going to get an answer. Failure to understand this by the country and the families leads to futile efforts and wasted time. In the short time of Uganda's recovery, for instance, factories have created 1.2 million jobs compared to only 480,000 jobs of the whole public service. All the jobs of the public service are 480,000. But the factories, these ones which have started coming recently, are already employing 1.2 million. Agriculture, you can see the workers in the Mtulagaba because of Makorera. Are the screens everywhere? They are only one side. Oh? You can see now. Abana Bobo now. But I also, those are jobs from the factories. I like the jobs from agriculture. Let's see our young boy Biamkama, the people he is employing. When you get them, put them. The commercial farms, the factories, the service companies, hotels. Let's watch that boy. A hotel or these private schools. Private schools also create jobs. Or hotels. When you get it, put it. The commercial farms, the factories, the service companies such as hotels, transport companies, private schools, private hospitals, etc., or ICT companies are wealth of private people, but they also create jobs for other Ugandans. This is the linkage I want you to get. The wealth is mine, whether it is a farm, a factory, a hotel, a private school, a transport company, they are mine, my wealth. But in the process, they create jobs for Ugandans. Some of the wealth companies can be government. The government can also have wealth companies, such as National Water, Uganda Railways, Uganda Airlines, National Enterprise Corporation, etc. They will have the same nexus, the linkage between wealth and the jobs, supported by peace and development. So this is the reason I'm really coming forward to say now that we are here, we are now, let's now try to show our people this. And I've already been talking about it, but all of us, we should take it up and make sure that we oxomesa, educate everybody so that we are of one opinion. Because you find we are now divided. Many of the families still think government is the one to provide the jobs. So the children qualify, they come to Kampala, waste a lot of time looking for those jobs which are not there. And yet the solution is create jobs, and the potential is there. This is because we are not harmonized, we are not tetukanyiza ku kigambo ekyo emirimu gisangibwa wa mu gavumenti oba kampuni zanekolera jange. So this is the first reason. This time I want us to emphasize, because if we do this, we are going to change in a very short time. Okusikiriza bamusiga nsimbi bafuna ebizibu babatawanya bana ba gavumenti jangu komawo, instead of obutamanya nti ono musajja tumwetaaga nnyo agenda kutuleetera obugagga, because he's going to make products here. Let's see those factories bakola kiwano nga bali ababaddewo abengoyi ababaddewo, the ones who are there. So you can see Musiga Nsimbi oyo, that investor is solving so many of our problems at a go. First of all, he's making clothes for us here. Instead of okugura engoye jeans China, azikolera wano product, atukolera product wano laba ebijjuddaawo byonna. Secondly, atuleetedde emirimu y'abaana baffe. Thirdly, akozesa amasannyalaze gaffe. Fourthly, agenda kusasula emisolo. Byonna abituleetedde wano. So instead of okumwaniriza abantu baffe bamutawaanya, abamu bagala kubaggyako ebituga. So that's why we should really, nga bwe twakuba omulabe nabana abatalengera tubakubira eddala. The second reason why I am coming forward and I'm pushing NRM is to have leaders and a party that understands and is committed to the need for a qualitative leap from the status of the lower middle income country of $66 billion by the end of June 2026 to a high middle income country of $500 billion in the next few years. Some of our people talk of 2040. That is too far for me. I do not see why we cannot achieve it earlier if we are really aggressive in the pursuit of the objective and eliminate corruption. Why do I say this? It is because much of our US dollar 61 billion economy of today is raw materials. Our coffee, as it has coffee, which is called cassé, brings in US dollars 2.5 per kg, per kilo. Yet the one who roasts, grinds, and packs the coffee earns from US dollars 25 to $40 per kilo. That is how all the coffee growing countries of the world earn US dollars 25 billion out of the total value of US dollars 460 billion. And Germany, a non-coffee growing country, earns US dollars 65 billion from coffee. Since we have a wide spectrum of raw materials of agriculture, raw materials of minerals, freshwater resources, and forest products, we have a huge potential if we add value to all of them or most of them. By refining tin ore to 99.85%, we earn US dollars 33 per kg instead of US dollars 13 per kg for the unprocessed tin. Tin, if you process it here, you earn $33 per kilo. If you export it the way it is now, you earn $13 per kilo. When we purify gold to 99.9% purity, instead of the way they have been exporting it now, you process tin to 99.85% purity, instead of the previous 75% purity. Copper to 99.9% purity, instead of the previous 95%. We do not only earn more money from that commodity and create more jobs for our children, we also attract the jewelry makers to come to Uganda and make the jewelry here. The factories that need to use tin will come, and we'll have the factories that need to use pure copper, such as the cables, such as the cables industry, the ones making transformers, and the other electric gadgets that use copper. Now we have got gold refineries in Uganda for the first time. I hear there are like 9 now, they have increased. And I'm beginning to get people who want to make a jewelry of gold here, to come here, because they have got pure gold which they can use. In the past, we were exporting semi-processed copper, which could not be used in our cables factories in Rugazi. But now, with the full processing of copper, our factories here of cables, transformers, electrical, will now use our copper here. So this blindness of exporting raw materials is a curse for Africa. You remember I brought you somebody to add value to your coffee, an Italian lady called Pinetti. She was being attacked in Parliament. Oh, you Mubi, what? Okay. Now, the coffee prices are beginning to come down, the raw material. What is coming down is not the coffee in the cup in the supermarket. The price of the coffee in the supermarket will not come down. It will remain high. What is coming down is the price of our raw material. Why? Because our raw material is now plentiful. For some 2-3 years we were lucky. I think we should go to the Amasabo in Ruero and Kuloga, the coffee of Brazil and Vietnam, because there was a drought in Vietnam, a drought in Brazil. That's why the price of cassé went up. Abagezi, abatsinda amagezi, betaga kase waffe bamukarange bamujemu kahwa obuwunga bwe tufuna ekyengera wano bwe tufuna Ebola ku lwekyeya awo tuganyulwa naye kati enkuba bwetonya Brazil ne Vietnam emwanyi niziba zikyengera kati wano ebbeeyi yaffe edda wansi. That's why we are saying that let's not sell unprocessed coffee. Let's sell value-added coffee. Kubanga eyo tegenda kudda wansi. You will never hear that the coffee final product price has gone down. Never. So therefore, this blindness of going to raw materials is madness. In the 1960s, one of the strongest currencies in the world was the Zambian kwacha. Zambian kwacha, for one Rugunda was in Zambia, he knows. Zambian kwacha was $3 to one kwacha. Why? Because copper. First of all, if there is change of technology, they can abandon your raw material. So in the 60s, the scientists discovered a method of transmit, because the cables were being used in aircrafts. Copper was being used in aircraft cables to control the plane. But along the way, scientists discovered the digital way of controlling. So they needed no longer needed cables of copper. That was the end of the copper boom. That's how actually Zambia started getting into economic problems. If you check the currency of Zambia now, it is not the way it was that time. These Tango Boys, they know that there was a factory in Tororo, if they are old enough to know. It was called a jute factory. A jute factory. People were making gunny bags from a fiber called jute. And we were growing it in tobacco. Here was the factory here. There was a factory in tobacco in Tororo. When I was fighting there, I used to walk at night and find a lot of these factory workers on bicycles going to work in the jute factory. But when plastics came and people started making the bags of Vuera, that was the end of jute. Completely forgotten. So, you people, don't endanger our people. Raw materials, very dangerous. Because technology can change completely. The bad thing is that most of the old people are dead. I am one of the few surviving. There was a fiber called flax, being grown in Kabari. In the 50s, I used to see them passing at Tuntungamo. Flax. If you want money, you grow flax. Flax completely forgotten. Even cotton had almost disappeared in 1964 there. When these nylons came up, people abandoned cotton. They went to the nylons. The good thing for us, nylon is not good for the skin. So people started getting rashes and so on. That's how they came back to cotton. Otherwise, cotton had been abandoned. So, when somebody says raw materials without final product is very dangerous for our future. Add to all this the knowledge economy of automobiles, vaccines, therapeutics, diagnostics, electronics, using our highly educated manpower. You saw them here. I was nominated by an engineer from Matuga. He was one of the nominators here. those very highly educated manpower, the transformation will be rapid. Therefore, the second reason for the NRM putting forward my name is to cause the qualitative leap of Uganda into a high upper middle income country in the next few years, preferably far ahead of 2040, which is 15 years from now. This is the second reason. To qualitative leap. There is quantitative. A baby, when a baby is born, things in life must undergo qualitative jump. Pregnancy. Like one of the people who nominated me, one of the young people, she's carrying something there. I will have to give her a reward for that in advance. So that person inside our daughter there is now growing quantitatively. Quantitative. But at some stage, the pregnancy must become something else. Must jump and become a baby. Otherwise, it will die. This is the problem of Africa. You can't be raw material. You can't survive. That's not how nature is. Then a baby is born, the baby grows quantitatively, grows. At some stage, the baby must jump and become something else. Banyakore call it okshogoya, puberty. Stop being a child, become now. So that's what we are telling you Africans. You cannot continue being a society of peasants. Peasant produces another peasant. You must jump and become a modern society. Other countries in Asia with less natural resources did it. We can do it. We have already achieved the lower middle income status by just this middle income status we have achieved. We have just done a few things. Economic recovery, diversification of the economy, and quantitative expansion with limited value addition. Maximum value addition to all the commercially viable raw materials and the knowledge economy, we shall achieve the qualitative leap to high middle income status and eventually a first world status. God has enabled me to lead the NRM for the last 60 years through the phases I have outlined above. Among the people who nominated me, there was the Brigadier Omule. Come here and they see you. Is somebody from the museum. This one is from the museum proper. Go there where they can see you. They are there, down there. They see you. This man who recruited him 1976, and he came through the network which was being run by Amama Mbabazi, is there. And then say Cho, and Otafire. They came and inconvenienced Mama Janet in Arusha, in Moshi. They were staying, we had a two-bedroom house. As teachers, I was teaching at Moshi. So these guerrillas would come and just mess up our place. When they were going to Mozambique. So we took this one to Mozambique, together with the others, together with Saleh. Saleh, the others are dead. Saleh and Ivan, I think they're the only ones remaining. So we have been in all this struggle all this time. Okay, Beping. God has enabled me to lead the NRM for the last 60 years through the phases I've outlined above. I believe God will see us through the qualitative leap. I'm ready to make my contribution in the next 5 years phase, both as president and as chairman of the NRM. As we celebrate the victories of the NRM in the last 60 years, we should not forget to acknowledge the earlier struggles of the Batakabu of the 1920s, of I.K. Musazi and his colleagues between the 1930s and 1950s, under the Farmers' Movement and the Uganda National Congress. Their efforts pushed Uganda towards independence. It was a pity that later sectarian politics undermined their efforts. I cannot end this short address without congratulating the millions of the newly elected NRM structures leaders from the villages upwards. It is so pleasing to see so many mainly young people coming up as a new crop of the NRM leaders. Stand up and they see you people. Oh, thank you so much. Sit down, sit down. I have been going through the districts and I see these young new chairpersons. Let's see the one of Mukono, the one I found in Mukono. Come here and they see you properly. You can see how young they are. Even the other one is young, although big stomach, but this is the one I saw in Mukono. Then there was the one of Mpiji. Where is the one of Mpiji? Mpiji Arua. You can see that one there. These are the ones I have visited so far. They are all young people. Thank you so much. Go and see. I cannot end this short address without congratulating the millions of the newly elected NRM structures leaders from the villages upwards. It is so pleasing to see so many mainly young people coming up at the new crop of the NRM leaders. It is now your chance to show that you can lead well. In order to manage politics successfully, as we, your predecessors, managed you to do, you need to know that productive politics is about ideology, which means philosophy, ideology, and strategy, and not just about biology. Because some people think that politics is about biology, age, gender, etc., and jobology. I'm introducing a new word, biology and jobology. Jobology meaning careerism. We have gone this far because of being guided by and working for the 3 historical missions and the 4 ideological principles. These are prosperity for the people of Africa, the strategic security for Africa, and Undugu, brotherhood of the Africans. And then the 4 ideological principles of patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation, and democracy. Over these and not any other reason, we agree or disagree on principles, not anything else. If this is If this is your campus, things are easy because they are guided by principles. That is how, for instance, we were able to work with people even when we were not fully agreed with their overall position. That is how we worked with Benaissa in 1980, Yusuf Lule between 1981 and 85 when he died, etc. Even with Obote, we could have worked together, or the DP in 1979, 1980, if they had been as deliberate as we were regarding the minimum possible programs. With us, what is the starting point is not the who, but the what. The what. In quotes, what is to be done and why, as described by Lenin in one of his writings. The interpersonal frictions we observe are not healthy. Sinagwe nchawa. Wanga sisora munyumba ya mtu, sora munyumba yange. I have no problem with anybody. The reason we fought Amin was not because Amin was killing, the killing people came later. But we were in our Uganda, in our journey of Africa, unity, Pan-Africanism. Now we could see Amin could not understand. Obote was not fully agreed with us, but we were trying to push him. Especially the Rugundas were close with Obote, and we were working with them to see whether we can push him to move to some of our aims. East African Federation, for instance. Amin couldn't understand, so we said with Amin, we don't waste time. Toka. The interpersonal frictions we observe are not healthy. It should be the inter-ideological contestation that we should take care of. I again congratulate the millions of the new NRM leaders, and we shall see how to support them affordably. My immediate advice to you is to be wealth creators, if you are not one already, so that you do not look at leadership as a means of living. Job, mulimo. Don't look at Ukulembeze as a mulimo. Political leadership is about okwerwa na ko. The people electing you to fight for their interests, and not about being mupakasi. Omukozi owempera, the hired shepherd that Jesus talked about in the book of John, chapter 10, verses 11 to 18. If you are not yet a wealth creator already, you should see how additional government programs such as PDM and Emioga can help you to start becoming one. I want all of you to be wealth creators so that you don't look at leadership as a survival. This is where many of these people get lost. They look at politics as umulimu, as umpakasi, as how to survive. Then the party can see how to support some of the categories with the operational costs. If our generation had had a jobist mentality, Uganda would never have been rescued. All of us, Kategaya, Rwaheru, Mwesugo Black, Mwesuga Martin, Zindana, Birahanze, Dennis Echo, myself, etc., had well-paying government jobs. Rugunda was still a medical student, he had to run away. On account of conviction, we left those jobs to fight for the salvation of Uganda. Where would Uganda be if we had not done that? What do the younger generations learn from that? You do not have to fight with arms now. However, you should volunteer to serve your people by defending their legitimate interests against corruption, fraud, criminality, land evictions, etc. This is really your work, to see that in your area there is no corruption, people are not evicted from their land illegally, fraud, okulwana, kubiruma abantu, to defend the people. This is the role of principled political leadership. Long live the 60 years of victories and progress. Long live the efforts of Ugandan freedom fighters. Long live the qualitative leap to US dollars 500 billion economy. Wanga tike tuliko twagala kubuuka si kusemvula okuyita kusemvula okusemvula omuluganda mwekiri okusemvula mwekiri
Your Excellency ng'otandika kusemvula
okushotoka okugenda mpola.
Your Excellency oba tonnakola speed naye otandika butandisi.
Twagala kusemvula tuvuddeko, twagala kubuuka kati. All glory to God, our Creator and Sustainer. Signed, Yoweri Museveni. General Retired Sabarwanyi. The NRM veterans gave me another one in Chankwanzi, Semalungu. That one never.
Can we give the President a very big